Security Chief Morgan dispatched me to this location to find Dr. Nassif for questioning.
Yeah, I've got business with Layla too.
Right, but you've been working for both the WTO and Order, so the jury's still out on whether I can even trust you. I will warn you that I suspect the Order may want Nassif dead, but the WTO doesn't believe in vigilantism, and I plan to enforce the law, no matter who threatens Nassif or why. We need her alive and conscious for quick information extraction.
According to the intel I've got, the Templars have her pinned down inside this facility.
We also suspect that there are a few bots gone haywire inside.
Sounds like a walk in the park. You stay here and guard the entry. I'll find Nassif.
Good idea. By the way, Chief Morgan wanted me to give you this biomod canister, a reward for securing the mag rail plans at Mako.
Great. Pass on my thanks.
Stick with us, Alex. The WTO is good to its people.
Remember, the WTO wants Dr. Nassif alive. She can be questioned. We think she may be holed up behind what remains of the Apostol.
Shall we talk it over? Just a little here. Air.
Poison!
Place the target! Poison! Well, I will to the death for the Templar cause! Didn't have to be this way. The WTO should crack down on these Templars. The WTO ignored them as some tiny harmless cult. Apparently they've got more followers than we expected. And where are they getting this firepower and training? Obviously they're organized. We can handle them, no problem.
What's that I hear? They're together.
By the skull of Sidon! Payback!
Right for the sake of it.
I will not...
Alpha! Won't be long now. I've been hit with toxin! Poison!
I've still got some fight in me. I will keep this area secure. Neurotoxin! I've still got some fight in me. I will not succumb to you. No.
I've been hit with toxin.
I'm certain it's nothing we can't handle.
It'll take more than that to stop a Templar. Poison. I will to the death for the Templar cause.
There, aren't you?
I've been hit with toxin.
The zone seems to be clear now. My little visitor seems to have moved. That's a strange sound. No matter. Hello? Who's there?
Haven't we had enough drills already?
Poison. What do you think this is now? I've still got some fight in me. Who's there? You have no idea what you're messing with. Got some fight in me. Poison. No. Neurotoxin.
Dr. Nassif should be here shortly. She's actually been working with the subjects directly, and I can hardly wait to ask her what they're like.
I don't think you're going to want to go much further, Alex.
Who are you? And how do you know who I am?
I'm the security chief for this facility. We were alerted to your presence shortly after your arrival in Cairo.
How did you survive the raid?
Let's just say I have a few tricks up my sleeve. Kind of like you do.
So you're modified?
Yep, some of the best new tech. Probably even some stuff you don't have yet. Then again, maybe you don't need it.
The Templars caught us off guard. Most everyone is either dead or captured.
At least you weren't here when they attacked.
she is, up ahead. Dr. Nassif turned you into a lab specimen, Alex. No one will blame you for killing her.
Disruption. Damage sustained. Warning. Threat. Investigating specific threat. Threat detected. Engaging. Response effective. Target acquired. Engaging. Intruder not found. Likely intrusion. Readiness level maximum.
The Knights Templar are already tearing our organization apart. The last thing we need is one of our own fishing for classified information.
You could have told me and the other trainees about the experiments.
Here you are, our biggest secret, walking straight into a deployment of Templars. Surely you've guessed. You're the next generation of the technology MJ-12 used to create JC Denton. You are the third Denton prototype, a clone of JC.
MJ-12? The offshoot of the Illuminati? This is almost unbelievable. They're the ones who started the Grey Death. I was supposed to be part of a plot to take over the world?
Until your older brother, JC, broke up their network and in the process caused the world economic collapse. When you were 5, Apostle Corps moved you and your foster parents to Chicago.
From Area 51. My parents always said we were from Palm Springs. So is JC Denton here? Is that who you're protecting?
The directors of this facility are either dead or captured. JC was never one of them, but I don't know who was running this lab. There wasn't much communication between the different cells.
That's all you know about the leaders?
I'm as ignorant as you. I did see the Paladins remove a cryogenically frozen body. Maybe that was the facility director. Maybe a botched experiment. Who knows?
So this is the end of Apostle Corps?
In Cairo, maybe so. I've been trying to reach Trier, Germany, our last hidden base, but all lines are down. I found out that the leader of that cell is a man named Tracer Tong. He's the only one who can contact JC. If you insist on tracking down our leaders, you can hire a pilot at the Pequods on level 107 and go to Trier.
Alex, no second thoughts and no violence. I'll protect Dr. Nassif myself if I have to.
The WTO wants to know some specifics about your research, Dr. Nassif, and where it's still being carried out. Tell me more about this Tracer Tong and the facility in Trier.
There's another Apostle Corps lab near the Black Gate with the usual facilities, plus one major difference. A teleportation gate that can take you to JC Denton.
Is that a unique detail?
It's the only one. Alex, I understand you're under pressure from the WTO, but you don't have to become their puppet. Get to JC and do what you can to finish this project. If you do that, it won't matter who controls this research, because the fruits of all this work will be available to everyone.
So after the collapse, JC went underground to, what, start his own biomod firm? From what I know, he doesn't seem like the corporate type.
I've never met the Dentons, but the story is that they realized after the collapse that no attempt to restore any form of world government was going to succeed right away. They decided instead to prepare the conditions for a new type of government.
With biomods?
A way to level the playing field between rich and poor. A society is no better than the individuals it contains. If all of them can be healthy, intellectually gifted, and self-reliant, the prospects for liberty look much better than they did early in the century.
And you buy it? You think Paul and JC are sincere?
That's what we're all told when we join. What you would have been told eventually if your training hadn't been interrupted. It sounds better than the constant bickering and warmongering between the Order, the WTO, the Templars, or the quasi-feudal powers that sprang up after the collapse. Having grown up poor, I appreciated the Tarsus school, and when Apostle Corps came to me and said they wanted to get rid of the Enclave mentality that keeps the rich behind walls and the poor, like my relatives in the Medina, scrabbling in the dirt, I couldn't refuse. The WTO will be here shortly to take me into custody. There's nothing more you can do here.
You're making a big, big mistake!
I helped complete the immune response. A batch of trainees may very well be the answer, the seed of 22nd century humanity.
Good work. Chief Morgan will be pleased. We've got what we came for.
Who knows how far a new biomod architecture could go? What if mental illness and manic emotional states could be eliminated? Violent crime might disappear on its own accord. The dangers of a vast police apparatus might become a thing of the past. Play the organizations against each other and maybe you can find an agenda of your own.
The Templars caught us off guard. Most everyone is either dead or captured.
Fellow WTO citizens, look about you with the splendor of the WTO enclave. You enjoy a higher standard of...
The SSC handles security for the entire Cairo arcology.
You're on your own now.
It's not like they have a warm and fuzzy image to uphold. What are they hiding?
Repairing damage. Repairs complete.
Step over to one of the flight bay windows. Look at that wasteland. Imagine if you were responsible for rebuilding an economic system to accommodate a planet full of beggars. Not as simple as it might seem to people on the outside.
Living in the comfort of a WTO arcology, it's easy to take for granted all the theory and work that went into constructing these living spaces. The concept of the arcology was developed by Paolo Soleri in the early modern pre-collapse society during the 1960s. Simply put, it is the fusion of architecture with ecology. The arcology eliminates wasteful consumption of land, energy, and time by putting living, working, and public spaces within easy reach of each other, making walking the main form of transportation. In the wake of the collapse, the WTO seized upon this highly integrated and compact urban form as a solution to the present toxicity and sprawl that were only exacerbated by the collapse. Not all WTO enclaves use this architecture, but in the environments that demand safe, sealed, and tightly knit cities have found success with this structure. This has been today's WTO Did You Know? Check back tomorrow for more fascinating facts.
How are you?
Well, you again.
Alex, you seem to have business in many different places.
Guess I'm not the only one. You still sitting in your helicopter on the landing pad?
I've finished my search of Cairo. I'm ready for the next destination.
And you don't care where I'm headed. You're ready to go anywhere I decide to go.
I've decided that you might be going in the right direction.
Toward your passenger?
Perhaps. If you'd like free transportation, I'll be waiting at the landing pad outside the arcology.
I'm showing another entry for Alex D in the crime database.
What for?
You're listed as the investigator who opened a criminal probe into Tarsus Academy.
I investigated the school, but I didn't know I was part of an official operation.
The Knights Templar have found recruits in strange places. The Enclaves are very concerned about tracking their activities.
And mine too, apparently.
The WTO's security procedures are spelled out in the charter, in case you have any questions. Use of incorporated zones is entirely voluntary. You're one of my favorite fans, Alex. I'm ready to listen anytime you have something on your mind.
How are you?
Another... Stay on my feet.
Take me to Trier, Germany.
What's in Trier?
I'm looking for somebody. That's all you need to know.
Many times.
It wouldn't be wise for me to discuss it. Let's go.
As you wish. How fortunate that we found each other. We've both lost someone, but now, with each other's help, maybe our luck will change.